Hello and a very good day everyone. In this presentation video, we are examining the use of English across different countries. We will examine how English is used, adapted and perceived in different countries, focusing on lexical variation within culture's outer and expanding circle. Culture's model categorizes countries where English is spoken as a second language, like Pakistan as the outer circle, and countries where it's taught as a foreign language like Turkey and Egypt as an expanding circle. By studying these variations, we gain insights into how English functions as a global language while reflecting each country's unique cultural influences. Alright, first let me introduce myself. I am Diniha HADHIRAH with my ID IDI2300019. And now I'll be sharing insights from an interview I conducted with my friend from Pakistan.
My name is Naiman Nurhan. I'm in Pakistan and I'm living in Islamabad, the capital city of Pakistan. Um, I'm basically a sales, customer service, and training guy. I have an experience of 20 years. I've been working in the sales industry for 20 years now, starting 2004. I have worked with American companies, I've worked with Pakistani companies, and I've worked on projects like solar, mortgages, ISP in Pakistan. I've sold softwares, worked with Microsoft, worked with IBM, done B2B, and then on and off. I train people as well. I train people on sales, customer service training. So if you sum it up, I'm basically a sales, service, customer service guy, training guy. So that's what I've been doing all my life in 20 years of um, my career is all sales, customer service, and training. I've trained people on sales and English.
My interviewee for this project is Mr. Naim Anwahan, who provides valuable insights into Pakistani English. Mr. Naim works in the business process outsourcing (BPO) industry, where English is essential for communication with international clients. His daily life and work involve a blend of English and Urdu, giving him a unique perspective on how English interacts with local languages and culture in Pakistan. His experiences offer a first-hand look at how English is used, the challenges of balancing it with local languages, and also the evolving nature of English among Pakistan's youth. My first question was, how do you view the increasing use of English in your country?
It has um, changed drastically in last say 10 years, mostly because of the BPO industry that has flourished in Pakistan. And mostly the BPO industry that we have in Pakistan is American based. Some is UK based, a little bit is Australian based, but most of it is American based. So that is one reason that English has flourished a lot in Pakistan. And when you talk about increasing use in English in Pakistan, it reflects a broader trend towards globalization and modernization. It can offer various advantages such as better access to education. And then job opportunities have increased a lot. As I told you, the BPO is one big reason. And international communication, English beats an international language. When you know English better, then uh, the chances of international communication increases because English is an international language. However, it may also raise concern about the preservation of local language and culture. So it's very important to keep a balance between English and the native language. We need to make sure um, we are promoting the native language as well. That can help maintain cultural identity while adapting to global demand. You can go global, you can uh, go English, but make sure that your personal identity as a nation is there. And local language plays a very important part when you talk about your local identity. So there has to be a very good mix and match of English and Urdu in our case. So make sure that we're doing that check and balance. Make sure English is not overcoming the local language. So there has to be a very good
Mr. Naim sees English as a positive force in Pakistan, especially for education and business, and also global connectivity. English proficiency opens up job opportunities in fields like business process outsourcing, BPO, linking Pakistanis to the international community. However, he also raised concerns that Urdu and other local languages may be sidelined as English gains prominence, and he highlights that language gaps that exist among them. Those who fluent in English have more opportunities, while those without access, particularly in rural areas, are left behind. This growth brings economic benefits but also inequality. English is essential for progress, but preserving Urdu is crucial for cultural identity. Striking a balance between English and local language is a key to inclusive progress in Pakistan. I then asked, what are some words or phrases in your country's English that differ from British or American English? Mr.
Ah, that is interesting. We use chai while English use tea, in common both British and
Oh,
American English. Chai specifically means referred to a spice tea popular in South Asia. So, as
mm,
I think Malaysian people know what we call tea chai, right? You must have heard that word
yeah,
because
true.
you people are pretty familiar with our language, right? Talked to a lot of people
Mm,
from that part, and they speak pretty good Urdu. And I was like, wow.
yeah.
Then paka, the term means certain, definite, often used to assure someone. For example, if I'm promising you something that I'll be doing this, you'll say paka. Paka means done. Are you sure? So that's a promise, something like that. So that is. Then
Oh,
ladki, ladka, ladki. We call girl the ladki, and the boy is the ladka, right?
mm,
This is what we normally use. Then khana is a very important part. Khana means food,
mm,
means meal or food. Then banda is like guy, and bandi is like lady. Ladka, ladki. Then shadi is a very important part. That is marriage, right?
yeah.
And but these are some of the the words that we use.
Mr. Naim shared several words that blend English with Urdu, like chai means tea, shadi means marriage, banda means guy or person, ladiki means a girl, and ladika means a boy, while paka means certain or definite. This blending shows the flexibility of English to adapt to local contexts, allowing speakers to express cultural nuances that standard English doesn't capture. These words give Pakistani English its unique identity and show the need for bilingualism to preserve uh, cultural richness. Next, I asked him about how do local languages influence the words and expression used in English in your country.
Your English.
Urdu and other regional languages are significantly influenced the words and expressions used in English in Pakistan. In several ways, like code switching. Many speakers
Mm,
fluently switch between English and Urdu or local regional language in conversation. Um, this blending often results in phrases that incorporate Urdu terms, enriching the dialogue and making it more relatable. Then it's loan words. Numerous Urdu words have been adapted directly into English used in Pakistan. For example, as I said, chai, shadi, and kebab, and commonly used often without translation, reflecting.
Mr. Naim explained that Urdu heavily influences Pakistani English, especially through code switching, where people mix English with Urdu in the same sentence, like let's have chai or I will attend shadi tomorrow. This helps communication ideas naturally within local culture. This code switching reflects a blend of languages, creating a unique form of English that aligns with cultural identity. It highlights how English in Pakistan is shaped by both global and local forces. Lastly, I asked Mr. Naim, have you noticed any new words or phrases becoming popular, especially among younger people?
Is FOMO. FOMO in short for a fear of missing out.
mm,
This term is
yeah.
commonly used to describe anxiety and over missing social events or trends. So, when you say FOMO, it means that somebody has a fear of missing out. For example, if I'm
Mm,
going to do a job or if I have to do something, so if I'll say I'm FOMO, it means that I think I'll lose, I'll miss out. Then
yeah.
lit. This describes something exciting or excellent, often in the context of parties and events. For example,
Mm,
you say his dance lit up the party. It means that that was something good. Then vibe. Vibe is a word that we have used a lot in like 4 or 5 years. It refers to a mood or atmosphere of a place or situation.
Mr.
Uh,
Naeem mentioned terms like FOMO, lead ghosting, and binge watching, which are influenced by social media and pop culture. Young Pakistanis adopt these terms to express ideas in a globally relatable way. This trend shows that younger generations use English not just for education but as a means of self expression and social identity. This blending of local and international slang illustrates how English in Pakistanis evolves with global influences while retaining local relevance.
Hello everyone, I'm NURHAYATI BALQIS Binti RAZMI and my ID number is IDI 2303016. And now I'll be sharing insights from interview that I conducted with my friend from Egypt.
Hi, I'm Omar from Egypt. I'm 18 and I'm here to help my friends and assignments, and I would love to do it.
All right, thank you,
So
Omar.
my subject is an 18 years old college student from Egypt. During the interview, I asked him a few questions about the spread of English language and the English as lingua franca in his country. For this presentation, I'm going to focus on our discussion regarding the influence of English in Egypt and how it has affected language use, popular culture, and generational communication differences. The first question I asked him was, how do you perceive the growing influence of English in your country?
I think it has been growing really fast in the past 10 years. Before that, it wasn't that much, it wasn't that common, especially in the older generations. But recently, it got more popular between people, and it got us into a lot more cultures and a lot more useful content. So that's really good.
In response to that question about growing influence of English in his country, Omar shared that English has expanded rapidly in Egypt over the last decades. He noted that while it was not widely spoken by older generation, English has now gained popularity, especially among younger Egyptians. These shifts have opened doors to diverse cultural exchanges and access to valuable content enriching the lives of people his age. The growing use of English highlights the broader global connections shaping Egypt's society, reflecting a desire to engage with a wide range of educational resources and ideas. The increased accessibility to English language content empowers young Egyptians, providing tools that can lead to a more knowledgeable and globally aware society in Egypt. Next, I also asked him about how do Egyptians typically adapt the pronunciation of English loanwords in their language.
I think it's kind of unique because every country has its own way to speak English, but for us, it's you can actually spot Egyptian person by the way he speaks English because we pronounce all the letters in a word, no matter what it was. And it sounds kind of funny sometimes. It's similar to Indian, but without the accent. But yeah, we use it if someone who don't have a good accent, you would know that he's Egyptian.
For this question, Omar described how Egyptians tend to pronounce each letter distinctly, giving Egyptian English a recognizable sound. He even compared it to the clear enunciations seen in Indian English, though without the specific Indian accent. This distinct pronunciation highlights how Egyptians adapt English in a way that preserves their own linguistic identity within the global English-speaking community. This uniqueness may foster cultural pride as it showcases the adaptability of Egyptian English. However, it could also pose challenges in international communications as the pronunciation might sound unfamiliar to native English speakers. Me and Omar also discussed on how English has influenced conversation around popular culture such as movies and fashion. The exact questions was how Has English influenced the way Egyptians talk about popular culture like movies or fashion?
Before English was that common, it was limited to know about famous movies or songs. It was limited to well-educated people, like people who went to other cities to for college or things like this, or other countries. After we had English, it became much easier for us to discuss. It gave us a lot of options to watch, to learn from, and even it affects us. So we made different movies, different type of songs. Even if you watched not so old movies like 10 years ago, you will see the difference between before and after English was introduced.
And for these questions, Omar explained that before English became more common in Egypt, access to global pop culture was limited and it's commonly only to educated Egyptians who study abroad. So, with the rise of English, Egyptians now have more entertainment options, making it easier to discuss and create film, music, and fashion influenced by global. So, these shifts have expanded cultural participation, allowing Egyptians to engage more fully with international media and popular culture. However, the prevalence of English in these areas could have both positive and negative effects. On the other hand, it fosters creative diversity, while on the other hand, it may risk overshadowing traditional Egyptian cultural expressions as international influences become more dominant. Lastly, I asked Omar a question regarding generational language use in Egypt. And the question was, do younger generation in Egypt tend to use more English words compared to older generations in everyday speech?
I would say yes, because older generations overall rarely use English. As I said, the most common words only. But younger generation, now that we have internet, they watch, like, for example, a lot of YouTube, a lot of TikTok, a lot of Hollywood movies. So they know more English, so they use it more, not just to be special, but as I said, English is much simpler than Arabic. It's easier to give someone information in English, so they use it more. But for older generation, um, some people never use it. Some people just use common words because they want to be going on with the other generations too. But overall, yes, the younger generation use it a lot more than older generation.
And during the interview, Omar answered that younger Egyptians use more English than their elders due to the impact of social media, Hollywood movies, and the other online platforms. He also noted that English often feels simpler and more convenient for young people to express their thoughts, ideas, especially comparing it to the complexity of Arabic. This preference for English highlights the significant role of digital media in shaping language use among the younger generation. While English offers ease with connectivity, there are potential of cultural implication as its widespread use might impact the preservation and everyday use of Arabic, possibly affecting cultural identity of Egyptian over time. In conclusion, Omar's insight revealed the extent to which English has integrated into Egyptian life, shaping language, culture, and generational interactions. His response illustrates the adaptability of language and the influence of globalization on linguistic diversity in Egypt. That's all from me. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is NURHAYATI, IDI 2303029. Today I will present insight from my interview with Mert Kagan from Turkey, focusing on the role of English as a lingua franca in his country. I appreciate your attention and hope you to provide a comprehensive overview of how English influences Turkey society.
I am Matt Khan from Turkey. I study at HADHIRAH University and I am fifth grade student in medicine.
Thank you. Okay, this presentation, I interview Mert Kagan, a 24 years old medical student from Turkey. He is currently in his 5th year at a medical university where he encounters English frequently in his studies.
English has English has been part of the country since a long time, and it has some good positive impacts because it brings us closer to the world and we can gain the information from the internet more easily. But our language has been more corrupted with English words such as control or alcohol, like, and some people still use English words in Turkish sentences, so it hurts me to hear them.
First, let's discuss how Merz perceived the growing influence of English in Turkey. He mentioned that English has been part of Turkish life since 1923 and has significantly expanded its presence over the years. Initially, many people had limited English skill, but there has been a noticeable shift when more individuals trying to adopt English names and phrases. This demonstrates a growing awareness and recognition of English importance in global communication. Mert note that English facilitates connection between Turkey and the rest of the world is allow easy access to world and information, especially online. This is particularly important in fields such as business, medicine, and technology, where English serves as a common language for international discourse. For Mert and in his academic field, this accessibility is invaluable for their studies and professional development. However, Mert also expressed concern about the negative impacts of English on the Turkish language. He feels that the influence of English words can corrupt Turkish, as many people integrate English terms into their conversation without consideration for linguistic purity. This blending can be unsettling for those who cherish the Turkish language, as it risks diminishing its unique identity and cultural significance. How English is
We don't use English that much in our lives, but since I'm a medical student, I use English in like medical books because they don't have translations for Turkish, and some patients don't know in Turkish as well, and we need to talk to them in English. We generally use English in these situations, and some touristic places also use English on billboards, etc.
Great. Let's
how English is used in his daily life and where it is most prevalent. He explained that he used English primarily in his medical studies, as many medical resources are available only in English. He also encounters English in clinical setting when communicating with patients who are not fluent in Turkish. Outside of academic context, English is less frequently used in everyday life, though it appears in some tourist areas, primarily for science education. More insight underscore the importance of English in specialized fields like medicine, where it serves as a critical tool for education and patient care. His experience illustrates how English is not just a foreign language but a necessary for professionals, highlight the role of English in facilitating understanding and access to information in various contexts. The prevalence of English in Mert's daily life demonstrates its dual role as both an academic necessary and a bridge to global communication. As English continues to integrate into various sectors, especially in education and healthcare, its impact on personal and professional life will likely grow, further shaping the linguistic landscape of Turkey.
When we use English words, we still use Turkish rules applied to them. Like when you end the Turkish word with a hard vowel like a, o, u, you need to continue with this set of vowels as well. Even if the word is English, you still have to continue with a, o, u, adding suffixes like mikrofonu. You don't say mikrofonu. You still have to use the rules of Turkish. There is only one exception, and that's the L sound. You use the opposite of that. Normally you have to say alkolu, but you have to say alkolü. But
I
other
see.
than that, you always use the Turkish rules or English ones. We only use the words.
Moving on to how Turkish speakers modify English words, Mert shared that adaptations are made to fit Turkish pronunciation and grammar. For instance, he provided examples like control being pronounced as control and microphone as microphone. This reflects a broader trend where English terms are just aligned with Turkish phonic rules, such as modification are essential for making English more accessible within the Turkish language framework, allowing speakers to integrate these terms into their everyday conversation comfortably.
Uh, if you use an English word, it feels like a bit off sometimes, but some words are like ingrained into the language so much that you don't notice it's an English word. You just think it's a Turkish word. Like, but some words are like recently added to the language, so if you use them, it's like a bit off, and people will give you weird looks for using it sometimes. But some people don't just care about it. But personally, I don't like using them that much.
I
I
see.
then asked Mert how he feels about use English word in everyday Turkish speech. Mert expressed mixed feeling about using English word in everyday Turkish speech, while some English words are deeply ingrained in the language and go unnoticed. He finds that newer English terms can draw attention and create a disconnect among speakers. Overall, he personally prefers to avoid using too many English words in conversation. This highlights the evolving nature of language and the challenge of maintaining linguistic identity in a globalized world, as the tension between modernity and tradition in everyday communication. Mert's perspective underscore the complexity of language mixing, revealing both the integration of English into Turkish and the revealing both the integration of English into Turkish and the desire to preserve the authenticity of the Turkish language.